Is marriage really forever?
Okay. First and foremost, cutting across religion, tribe, race.
Okay.
And you come to understand that marriage is involved generally. So, in Christianity, that's how we practice it. It's different from the Muslims and the rest, but marriage is a formal, a legal coming together of two persons or more.
Mm-hmm.
And is it really forever? I would say yes, and I'll also say no.
No.
Because as Christians, if you want to look at the biblical aspects, you have God say in Matthew 19 from 6, as well as Mark 10:9. He says that what he has joined together, let no man put asunder. Now, if you read further in the same Matthew, he also, when the disciples asked, but that Moses said, a man can give a letter of divorce to his wife, he responded that unless fornication, immorality is involved, any man that divorces the wife and you also go back to remarry, that man himself is committing adultery.
You know, one prayer nobody should pray about is to get into divorce. This is June. This is just June, and then between January and now, I've been involved maybe close to about 5 or 6 divorce cases. Sometimes they come to the office and then they talk and you say, okay, can I hear your stories? Then by the time they finish telling you the story, you want to say, no, please. I think you should go.
Yeah.
Or I think you should stay away.
Stay away.
Because it could be terrible. Why would you get into a marriage and then you know you have erection issues and get into a marriage without informing the other party? It's only in the marriage party involved is
aware.
And then you can't be talking about it without talking about sex.
Very essential.
Even if there is no food to eat.
I didn't see that coming, barrister, you know.
This saying, till death do us part, should it be really practiced? Is it real? I know some churches do not put that again in their vow. So, but in the reality, should death really do us part?
You know, when you talk about whether death will do us part, you know, whether it's part of the confessions or not, one day death will do part. If you get to any point that you find out that you cannot stay anymore, let me speak as a lawyer, walk away. It doesn't mean you are divorcing. Take a break. Don't kill yourself. You know, life is like a puzzle. Every one of us, for this show to happen, every one of us have a role.
Yeah.
If one person was not here, this role will not work. That's the way life is.
Hello, I'm so excited to have you join us today again at Quest to Know podcast, a segment of podcast that we question everything about the church, the African community, and families. And I am your host, Ubong Johnny. It's so good to have you here today. All right, so please, if you've not subscribed to our YouTube channel, why not click the subscribe button and subscribe to this channel to get more thought-provoking and interesting videos. And today in the house, I have amazing guests and of course, my co-host. So I'll allow them introduce themselves. They say ladies first. So Ma, please.
Yeah, we need to respect that.
Introduce yourself, Ma.
Okay, I am Mrs. Etima Ubong. I am delighted to be here.
Thank you very much. All right, sir.
Okay, my name is Inyobong Okon. I'm a legal practitioner. I'm married. It's good to be here.
Thank you very much, sir.
Wow, viewers, it's good to be here again. I love doing this with my host when he's around. I came in here, queried the co-host. And so, for better, for worse, for rich and for poorer, in sickness and in health, till death do us part. These are the vows we take as couple, when we decide to journey into marriage. But what happens when the love which once bound us together fades away? Join us as we start this conversation. Of course, divorce is a very drastic decision for couples. We'll get with that. Let's start.
All right, so good to be here today. Okay, so the topic for today's discussion and conversation is marriage really forever? Is marriage really forever? as my co-host said, when people are dating or when people are courting, people go with this butterfly in my belly, the only cockroach in my cupboard.
That's weird now. You mean it's not calling lines.
And we go along the aisle and to proclaim vows like till death do us part. And it's so sad that in our world today, people have options and people think that marriage is just a bed of roses. Of course, there is a part for that, but in our world today, people are ignorant of the fact that there is a reality. There is a very deep path to marriage, and that's what we want to discuss today. All right, let me start with the bar. Barrister sir, this saying till death do us part, should it be really practiced? Is it real? I know some churches do not put that again in their vow, so but in the reality, should death really do us part?
When you talk about whether death will do us part, whether it's part of the confessions or not, one day death will do part. So you can't really take away that out of it, the picture. But then if you want me to maybe just add a little flesh to it.
Okay.
Let me just bring a little analogy. For instance, you have cough.
Yeah.
You walk into a pharmacist. You ask for a cough syrup. Pharmacist gives you a prescription. Take 2 tablespoons 3 times a day for 5 days to get healing. You return home, and then you take 1 teaspoon for 3 days, once per day for 3 days. The problem was not with the cough syrup. The problem was also not with the prescription. The challenge was with the person that took it. All right. So when you now start talking about the challenges, are the challenge with marriage is not about marriage itself. It's not about the prescription of marriage. It's about the people in the marriage. So sometimes death can do you part. Sometimes you can choose to also walk away before death do you part. So whichever way you choose. Yeah.
Wow. Powerful equation.
Wow.
All right, man. Let me come to you. Let me put the question straight to you. Is marriage really forever?
Okay. First and foremost, cutting across religion, tribe, race.
Okay.
And you come to understand that marriage is involved generally. So in Christianity, that's how we practice it. It's different from the Muslims and the rest, but marriage is a formal, a legal coming together of 2 persons or more. And is it really forever? I would say yes, and I'll also say no.
No.
Because as Christians, if you want to look at the biblical aspect, you have God say in Matthew 19 from 6, as well as Mark 10:9, he says that what he has joined together, let no man put asunder. Now, if you read further in the same Matthew, he also, when the disciples asked, but that Moses said, a man can give a letter of divorce to his wife, he responded that unless fornication, immorality is involved, any man that divorces the wife, and you also go back to remarry, that man himself is committing adultery. So if you see that context, so that means there is room, there is possibility for divorce. So there is possibility for marriage to end. So that's why I say my answer tilts to both the yes and also to the no. Because in some cases, people pass through life-threatening issues that pushes them, because a decision to divorce a partner, no matter how it might seem, it is not an easy decision to make. So before a couple that were once either in love or were living well, decide one day that it's no longer convenient, this one goes, the other goes, you have to know that there are factors that had gone beyond Control. So for me, that answer is both to the left and to the right. That's it.
Okay, so let me come back. One of the things I know that could cause divorce in marriage is high expectation, fantasies that people do not really know about marriage. So they go, as I said already, they go with a wrong mindset that it will be always sweet, that this guy will always be romantic, that this guy will always be sweet talking as he came to me on our first date. So what are the fantasies that people expect versus the reality that they experience in marriage?
Okay. First and foremost, marriage as a union is supposed to have its benefits.
Yeah.
Physical benefits, health benefits, emotional, intimacy, companionship. Now, as a couple, these are the things you expect to feel this way, to live this way. But like I said, there are factors that are sometimes in place or they come up later, and you find that those things are no longer available. Now, like you said, there are some churches have really tried now to have what we call marriage courses and all that. So most times this couple, they have an idea of what it is supposed to be like or what to expect, but sometimes the willingness and the commitment is not there. Marriage is a responsibility beyond what you feel, beyond your emotions, beyond your love, beyond your intimacy. It's a commitment to responsibilities that are there. A man in the marriage has his own responsibilities as well as the woman. So when one party is not committed to his or her responsibilities, it affects the other person. And definitely, factors will begin to play in that will bring in either a diversion or a loss of interest. And it still leads to either divorce or any other odd.
For what reason? Because I need to understand. What are these? I believe personally might be for security reasons. If the other parent was abusive. But to what reasons will push the divorcee to block the other partner from having access to the children, in that they agreed initially into this journey?
Well, first of all, no party has the right to block the other party from having access to children. No party. The law is clear, the law is straight. When children are tender, they should be with the mother. So long as there are no exceptional situations that will make the court or the law take away the children from the mother, whatever case it is, but they should be with the mother. And then there are also, the court will also stop your father from having access. You could say, okay, you could see them every week, you could see them every weekend, you could see them once a month. But that, or maybe you could say, okay, every holiday they spend with the father. But that will not still give the inclusiveness you're talking about. One prayer nobody should pray about is to get into divorce. This is June. This is just June. And then between January and now, I've been involved maybe close to about 5 or 6 divorce cases. Sometimes they come to the office and then they talk and you say, okay, can I hear your story? Is there any way? By the time they finish telling you the story, you want to say, no, please. I think you should go. Or I think you should stay away.
Stay away.
Because it could be terrible. Why would you get into a marriage and then you have erection issues and get into a marriage without informing the other party? It's only in the marriage party involved is
aware.
And then you can't be talking about it without talking about sex.
Very essential.
Even if there's no food to eat.
I didn't see that coming, Barrister,
But the point I'm making is this. By the time you hear their stories, you encourage them to walk away. You encourage them to stay apart. And it can be very terrible at some point. So nobody, the time we have may not begin to give me time to begin to enumerate the things I've heard. And you begin to wonder what happened. I asked one, you sister.
You do not know.
Sister, what if you're so you mean that in all these years you have been here? Or how long did you know him before you got married to him? So what is your challenge? And see, these people some of them are pastors.
Okay.
So there's no limit.
Can you imagine?
It can happen to anybody.
Yeah.
Pastors, doctors, all manner of people. So it's not limited to say, okay, the person didn't go to school. It's not the high and the mighty, the low at that point. You go to the customary court, people are coming to the customary court to take divorce because they are traditional marriage. So there is no strata of society that people are not walking out of marriage. The prayer will pray, oh God, don't let us get to that point. Yeah. Because it can be devastating. I'm tempted to say something. I'm tempted to also keep it back because it involves human beings and their life. And then we get to watch what I'm about to say. But the point I'm making is this. If you're not ready for marriage, like I said from the beginning, marriage is ordained by God. The prescription for marriage are in the books. There's the Bible, whether it's the Quran you have, whatever, there are prescriptions for marriage. If you read the prescriptions and you're not yet ready to go into it, when I hear people talk about love, and who ask me, is love enough? See, love is always enough. I know my what do I use now may not agree. Why am I saying love is always enough? 1 John 4 verse 8. He that loveth not knoweth not God, for God is love. And so if God is the vision of love, then God is always enough. The way we have a challenge is chemistry. You see that chemistry, that feelings you have is not enough for marriage. The love is always enough because God is always enough. The challenge we have is that when we pull out of God and decide to do marriage out of God, we will have issues. So except you're not defining love in the context of God, that's when it's not enough. But as far as you're looking at the Bible and the prescription is that God is love. For God so loved the world. Every time you talk about love in the scripture, you talk about God. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, so you can't be talking about love and you say love is not enough. Be why God is enough. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So let's say that chemistry, the feeling you have, the fantasies you have, it's not enough. It won't be enough. That feeling won't be enough. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm not a very attached person. So you can't see me I'm not clingy. So I can be alone for another 5 days. The best seasons I have is when my wife and children go on holiday. Best season. I don't miss anybody. I'm telling you, because I have enough to do for myself and think for myself. The day they are around, you spend minimum 10,000 every day.
I can imagine the stress.
I don't know if you understand. So there are a lot of things that come. So once they are on ground, there are a lot of things that comes to your attention. Milk has finished. Holding one has finished. He doesn't want to eat it back. Yeah. So there are a lot of things on your head, and when they travel, you have the time to clear your mind. So I'm not the clingy part. But somebody else may come to mind and say, "You're very clingy. I want to always do. I want to." Those things will come. You will not find it in marriage. It's not there. It's not. You won't find them. You're getting married to somebody that maybe was not clingy because the person didn't have parents. Okay. So nobody to clinge on. And then you're getting to marry somebody that is the parents were always calling him love, pet names. And then two of them meet and you think the other person, you can't change somebody overnight. So that chemistry, that feelings you have, that butterfly in your tummy, they will fly away. What you should look at, go to the scriptures. Go to the maker of marriage. Go to the prescriptions. Read through it. Love is not feelings. God is love. See, there are things you will not do for your spouse if you love your spouse. Good or bad. Doesn't matter what anybody thinks about it.
Rewind.
There are things you will not do for your spouse or your children if you love them, whether they think it to be good or bad. So you must take your stand based on God's word and do them right. That's the only way you can be assured of good marriage, of a good marriage. So you wake up in the morning, what will God not want me to do to my wife? Because I have a covenant with him, so I find out from him. And then, okay, this God will not want me to do this and this. Okay, so I'll not do it to my wife. I will not treat my children this way. So my daughter knows that I will spank her. She knows that I will hug her. I will spank her because that's what scripture says we should do. I will call her back and hug her because that's what scripture says. Period.
That was interesting, though. And Ms. Etima, I listened to you when you said that, divorce and it must get to a point that in marriage where, it's becoming threatening. It's affecting you. The whole entire process is devastating. And you see, in the society today, the rate of abuse and domestic violence is very rampant. In fact, I'm tempted to ask, I don't know who is an inventor of that, is it statement that, it's a feature of women that they are vulnerable, in terms of, reacting or fighting back men, I should see that person, I'll finish him. Because I just believe that since men knew about that, the women are just naturally vulnerable. They took advantage of that, abused them, most men in this case, abuse them, take advantage of beating, hitting. And I don't blame any lady that may choose to walk away from marriage because life first, mental health second, and not, dying in devastation, depression, just because of a human being called a husband. So that leads me to this particular question, Ms. Etima. In marriage, we pay attention to that part of divorce as a decision, which is very, very drastic. But then, isn't it high time for women at least to stand up and speak senses to some men who are abusive?
Okay. Before I get straight to the answer, let me say this. At home, you have the man and the wife. And most times, it might not even be an argument. But when once the wife says, Ubong, we have to talk, let's talk. The first reaction or the first thought of that man is waiting down so.
So that's why I wanted to correct him. The women, no gender is vulnerable. Both genders are vulnerable.
Yes.
Very vulnerable.
Yes.
So long as you're human, you're vulnerable.
So that's why I was trying to clear that
And
first
so let's
before I come
correct
to your answer.
because our advocate
Experiences are talking, so
Yeah.
you better listen.
There's statistic that 8 out of 10 young children are abused sexually. 8 out of 10 young boys
Yes.
are abused. The challenge is that they don't speak up because society have made them feel that they shouldn't talk.
That's it.
So a man should take everything. I read the story of a young man in the UK having an attack at 31. Attack at 31
How does it marry?
sound. Just died. So sorry, I'm just coming in.
No problem.
But everybody is. In fact, I feel men are more vulnerable
Yes, that's actually
because they don't voice.
Yeah.
that's the truth.
So the mental health issues,
They
because
bottle up
speak,
everything.
They bottle up, and then somebody at 45 is already having health
BP.
challenges, BP, and you're wondering what his problem is. Why should they have BP?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, there are things he has bottled up he cannot
So much. But a woman might take 1 week to nag on a certain matter. She will nag until all her mind,
It's 1 week, not small.
her thoughts,
You take 1 month.
everything concerning that issue. She will even drag it and put everybody, The point I'm trying to make is, just like he said, every human is vulnerable, especially in marriage, in a home, in a union. So imagine a wife saying, and at that point, she won't even call honey. She will call you by your name. Ubong, we need to talk. In Ubong's mind, he's trying to
What's going on?
reminisce on the past few hours or days, or trying to know at what point was she happy to, what did I now do, what is going on. And sometimes it might not even be on that subject matter.
See, sometimes you just want to talk, and next thing you say, why don't you love me again?
And that could be maybe she's reacting to a certain reaction he did unconsciously, like he's not even conscious of the fact that maybe he didn't say good morning back, or you know.
How do you how do you expect good morning when when the child knocks on the door in the morning and then says good morning and then drop a list? Good morning. So the things you need to buy. Some days you are in court and I'm just trying to look at, I have a case to do, and then text enter my phone. Please, when you are coming back, buy this, buy this, buy this, buy this, buy this.
But sometimes we run away.
So you are now wondering, where should you get the money from? You understand?
When they actually know that actually this money was not available anywhere.
I will say it's not. Nobody even says it's not available.
I know sometimes.
No, madam, let's be sincere. Do you believe the money is not available when you ask?
Oh, I do. Sometimes I even know it's not available, but I just ask because
you just ask because you just need to ask.
Because you want to put him under pressure to look for more money and do what he has to do.
Might not be under pressure to look for more money, but to just know that this thing, there is actually a problem.
There's need.
So you see, this is now the reality. So it all goes down to being committed to each other's responsibility. Pick yours, I pick mine. And when I say this, I'm not talking about, our society has defined it to be that a man's responsibility in home or a marriage is supposed to be bringing money always. And the woman's own is to now use the money that the man brought to do. No. It's both ways. Basically support.
That means you can, foot in the bills.
He can bring the money today. I can bring it the next minute. It's supposed to be that way.
So the point is that marital roles are based on availability.
That's it. Not on gender. Not on being a man or the woman.
It's not gender based. Availability. If you're the one available to wash the car today, wash the car.
No,
you're available. You're one available to to do school runs today, you do school runs. I may not be available tomorrow because I have some appointment to catch up.
That's right.
So I'm not available to cook today, I cook.
Nice.
I don't know if you understand that.
Yes.
The kind of work my wife does doesn't allow her to be free. I run more of a work that gives me time. By sometime by 12, I'm out of court. So I've been to market since we got married. I've been to market more time than my wife has ever been to market.
Okay.
These are 50 years. And I'm telling you, I've been to market that my wife has ever been. So if my wife wants to go to market from now, in another 2 years, I'll still have been to market more than she has gone. I don't know if you understand that.
Yeah.
Because I'm always available. That's why she can always send me lists. So I can leave court and I'm going home. So I know that if I get to the office, I may not be able to meet up with what she has to do. So I mean my suit, my white, I'll just put my wig and gown in my bag, and then go to Akpan and buy. It doesn't take anything out of
it.
Powerful.
But
so I do that.
In the same scenario, you have a man that has absolutely nothing to do. You actually have a job that you go out to. This one has nothing. Nothing. Like in some homes, it's actually the woman that actually brings the money and the care and everything. So this one has no, he's just at home. He will expect the woman to come back from the hustle, still go branch market, come back, still cook and feed him and wash the plate. And so in such home, the woman, that woman is accumulating.
Yeah.
That woman is not satisfied.
Where do such women? Where do they meet such men?
Oh, you don't want to know.
Plaza.
Because see, if you live around an environment, there are now see you will find freshwater fish in salt water.
Yes, at all.
So if you are a freshwater person,
I go to salt water.
How did you get a husband from salt water?
A big time question.
I don't know if you understand.
Yeah, yes, I do, sir.
How did you? You didn't see what took you away. How were you carried away?
Butterfly.
So we get back, and we still get back to what I said.
Yeah.
You see, I couldn't have found my wife in a club. I've never been to a club all my life. I'll be 41 by August. Never been to a club. I went to somewhere yesterday. A friend opened a new business place and they were sharing drinks. They said, "Barrister," I said, "No, I know you take beer." He said, "You sure?" I said, "I never take beer before." It sounded like a joke, but I've never. So there are places I would never have met my wife.
Yeah.
We were in court one day, and then a friend of mine, a very close friend, said, "Oh, yesterday my party, forget." I said, "Why don't you invite me?" He said, "No, spirit and beer with the drink." And I say, "No, agree drink."
So that there's no point.
There's no point inviting you.
So some people were shocked. So some ladies started look at me. You know the drink? I said, "I need a drink." You they smoke? I know they smoke. You they womanize. So some friends around said, "Allah, you are pastor, no they womanize." Because it's good they knew me as pastor. Hey, you know they womanize. So they say, "Allah, guess I'll do catch up." You know. So the point is that there are places I would never have found my wife
because
never.
You're not there.
Because I don't fish in such environments.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that people that fish in it doesn't mean that people that go there cannot find a good wife.
Yeah.
That's their own. Because the principles and the rules they will live by it. You know, by me, I couldn't afford that. I would die now. Like you wake up on Friday, you want to go to club. Me, I've not been to club. I'm imagining what are you going to do? You won't work. So like I always tell people. So and most time when they come, it's almost at the stage where they are working out of the marriage.
How did they get here?
How did you meet him? How did you meet him? So that's the challenge that we need to solve. If you don't get it well from the beginning, you will have issues. So the point is, get your goals settled. This is what I want in marriage. Then find the person that will suit that goals. Not the one that will raise butterflies.
Wow, it has been a very wonderful conversation. So I'll give my guests 1 minute each of them to speak to the men and to the women. So I'll start with you, Ma. So what's your final words for people who think that who are in the age of giving up, or who think that marriage is not really forever? And then but the barrister will also speak to the men.
Okay. Well, I'll start by saying every marriage can be saved. Now, but when you get to a point that it's life-threatening, it has to do with first your life, because a dead person has nothing to do with marriage and all that. So when it's life-threatening, you've gotten to a point you try, and it's still not working. You know, there are some places they say, okay, just separate for a while. See if there could be some adjustments and all that. So if after doing that, you still see that indeed this person can't, or this situation cannot be changed or handled, then you take the decision. But you also know that if we adjust, like he said, you know what you want, you're going into a marriage, you actually want your marriage this way. And then maybe you get someone that is not in line with what you want. That's where I say it can be served. So now, when you check all of that, there are some people that are still willing or subject to change, depending. One, that's where forgiveness comes in, and willingness. So there are some things that a partner would do. You forgive, but you're not even willing to forget, or is too heavy to even forget. So sometimes the forgiveness is there, but when you see something similar, or he's moving towards those, it triggers back the previous memory. So that's why I say the forgiveness, willingness, and other factors. But in the end, we all have to understand that you made a vow, you have a responsibility. So try to just be committed, play your own part, and see how you can help the other person. I don't say don't force anyone to change. Just do what you can. Ensure that you first, you're doing yours, you're playing your own part appropriately. Then see how, because in the end, there's no perfect, there's no, that word perfection is far from it. So we all make mistakes, get back from it, try to see how to forgive one another and see how to pull through it. So that's just it. I want to advise the women out there, they should do their best to see how to either save their marriage or continue. But if it gets to the point that it's threatening your life, then you call it a quit. Because I've seen women die in the process of trying to live. They will always try, they never leave. And at the end, it's burial and life goes on. So that's it.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right, sir. So I'll speak to the men.
Okay, so all our advice, try and be a good person. Don't be truthful to yourself, be a good person. Be sincere to yourself, be truthful to yourself. What you know that is not good, you will not take, don't do it to another person. Be truthful, be good. Just try, do your best. Because at the end of the day, like she has said, when it becomes life-threatening, don't just walk away. Consult a counselor that is unbiased. I've seen biased counselors that lead people more to death. Consult a non-biased counselor. Report to the police. It's life-threatening. That's gone beyond the purview of marriage. It's not a crime. Report to the police. Federation of Men Lawyers, FIDA, they're doing a whole lot of good work. Walk into the Ministry of Justice, tell them you want to see FIDA. They will take you to the office. You talk to someone that will help you go through the process. Talk to a lawyer. He will let you know the bounds. I know a lady that walked out of marriage, and then the guy started training her. Oh, I know you are here. I know you are here. It's either me or nothing. It's for better for worse. That's a crime. It's no longer marriage. So talk to law enforcement agents, talk to a lawyer, talk to unbiased counselor. They will help you out. And then if it gets to any point that you find out that you cannot stay anymore, let me speak as a lawyer, walk away. It doesn't mean you are divorcing. Take a break. Don't kill yourself. You know, life is like a puzzle. Every one of us, for this show to have happened, every one of us have a role. Yeah. If one person was not here, this role will not work. That's the way life is. Once you die, you pull out of the scenario, you're going to affect a lot of things. Your children, your mother, your father, your relationship. You'll keep thinking, oh, if this person was around. Okay. So why would you allow that happen to you when you're just 30 or 35 or maybe 40? So the truth is, if at any point you can't continue, you walk away. And then just be good.
Wow. Yes. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay. A whole lot about the conversation. Stigma that follows divorce is actually devastating. And I must say that if it gets to that point where you are not facing what you should face in marriage, then divorce is inevitable. But one thing is certain, before you take that decision of separating from your marriage, always remember that there is no perfect union. Practice empathy in marriage. Understand that the feeling of the other should be your priority. And so, is forever really forever? Do you see divorce as the best option for marriage? Of course, you may have your opinion. I may also have my opinion. Of course, the guests tried as much as possible to tender their own purview on this particular issue. But there's one thing certain. Happiness and mental health is very, very essential. And if it gets to that point that it's becoming a life-threatening issue to you, please take a pause and have a break. Even if it means saying goodbye, it's never bad. So we have come to the end of this conversation. It was a good time having Mrs. Etima Ubong Ann Inubong Okun, Esquire. Yeah, in
your bong.
In your bong.
In your bong.
It was right. It was right. Okay. Yes, Okun Esquire.
Esquire. So thank you very much for having and sticking to this particular time. We really appreciate. And please, if you are a new person watching this particular session, please subscribe to this particular channel so you keep posted to all the videos that will come. To my hosts, thank you very much for always having me. Thank you very much, viewers. Till next episode. Bye.
Bye for now.